This presentation is an introduction to Module 13, Surveying South Asian Cluster. As you will note from the map, this cluster contains the nations of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. In his book Expand Your Borders, David Livermore identifies curry as the cultural icon for this cluster. He explains that the cultures in this cluster are varied, much like the different types of curry. South Asia is the spice center of the world, and the people groups who live there are as varied as the spices. With almost 3 times the population of the United States, India has developed its own unique entertainment industry, complete with movie making that incorporates indigenous forms of dance and music. This symbol of the South Asian cluster is simply known as Bollywood. The sitar is a stringed instrument similar to the guitar, but the music it produces is particularly South Asian. Using quarter-tone distinctions not known in Western music, the sounds produced seem somehow otherworldly. Diverse religious traditions define this cluster like no other. Some of the nations are majority Muslim, while others are Hindu or Buddhist. India is unique in that all religions are tolerated, at least by law, if not in practice. India is the birthplace of both Hinduism and Buddhism, being introduced to Christianity in the 1st century by the Apostle Thomas, and later affected by the eastward expansion of Islam. Since Hindus believe that there are many paths to the divine, some have no problem holding contradictory views, as illustrated in this graphic. I once had a student who told me that he wanted to be a Hindu Christian. He liked the idea of Hinduism tolerating all religions, but he believed that Jesus was the best. The problem with taking a position like this is that there are contradictory views. Hinduism believes that there are many paths to God. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." This slide by no means contains an exhaustive list of all Hindu beliefs. However, this is a fair summary of what Hindus believe. For more information on this, you can look at Chapter 14 of Reaching the World in Our Own Backyard. Hindus believe that there are many paths to the divine. They believe that there are many gods, and yet some believe that there is one supreme God. This is referred to as henotheism, the belief that one God is supreme over all the other gods. Hindus believe that there are many sacred creatures, including cows, rats, monkeys, and other creatures. And over the course of history, perhaps once every 1,000 years, there have been avatars in which a divine being came in human form. And so Hindus believe Jesus was one of many avatars. They also hold to Dharma. Dharma is their form of righteousness, keeping the social order, bringing worldly progress to every living being, and bringing spiritual progress to every living being. They also believe in karma, which Christians might call the law of the harvest. You reap what you sow. However, in Hinduism, and in Buddhism for that matter, the fruits that you sow in this life are borne out in the next life, in reincarnation. And reincarnation is the belief that you take on another living form after this life. However, this is contrary to biblical teaching. Hebrews 9:27 says, "It is appointed unto man once to die, and after that, judgment." In his book Expand Your Borders, author David Livermore lists the cultural dimensions of the South Asian cluster, including the fact that they are collectivist, they hold to a high power distance, moderate uncertainty avoidance, they are moderately cooperative, moderately time-oriented, they hold to high context, which means that there are a lot of implicit, understood, and non-spoken rules to be observed, and they are moderately being and doing. Read Livermore for more information on these cultural dimensions.